This is Movie Empire, giving you an introduction to physics. So normally, basically this is about secondary school physics or high school classes physics. So this will be also useful for those people who will be writing their grade 12 examinations or those who are seeking for GCE, ECZ examinations or examination in Council of Zambia. So you need to understand this introduction. Once you understand the introduction, it will be easy for you to understand these other videos which I'll be posting here on this channel. Therefore, subscribe and like this video, and also click the notification button so that each time I post a new video, you'll be notified. So you need to understand that physics is just a study of what? Properties of matter. So you need to know that matter, you need to know what is matter. So anything which occupies space, so long as anything can occupy what space, that is a study. But and also energy. So it will make sense, this definition, as we move on. So normally we are just focusing on what? Their quantities. Their quantities. That is our interest. Their quantities. Quantities of what? Of matter. So you know that matter exists as what? Solids, liquids, and what? And gases. These are the states of what? States of matter. Forms in which matter exists in this world. It can either be what? Solids or liquids or gases. So what do I mean by the study of the properties? So their properties, we are mainly concerned about what? The quantities of these. How can I measure a gas, or how can I measure a liquid, or what equipment? So this is what you need to understand about the introduction. So how can I measure a gas? How can I measure a liquid? And also, what equipment can I use? This is how we'll study this. What equipment or what object can I use? Or object. What object can I use to do what? To measure these three things. This is our physics. Mainly the quantities of what? Of matter or states of matter. And also, what equipment can you use to measure that? And also, in what units do you use when measuring that? So this should be your main point. The main thing which you will do at is you understand about this. Once you are able to understand what equipment are you supposed to use to measure whatever you are measuring, whatever quantity you are measuring, and also what object or equipment are you supposed to use when measuring that, then it will be easy for you to understand physics. So normally they are what we call basic units. So basic units, these are the units where you need to start from. At least something has to start from something. So like if you are measuring maybe people, maybe let's say for instance a distance. Distance, you find that there are many units, many units, but these are standard SI units, standard units, like which they have agreed upon that whatever you are measuring, you need to start from something. So for instance, when you talk about length, you can measure length in kilometers, distance in centimeters, millimeters, what? But the standard which is accepted when you're measuring length, it is what? Meters. So these are the basic units. You need to understand these are the basic units. That's where others haven't mentioned some of them, but these are one of them. This is where you start from. Like when you're measuring something, these are the units where you start from. Then maybe if you're using more than 2 basic units, I'll talk about that. That's when now it becomes a what? A basic unit. So if you notice here, it has only one unit here. One unit. So for instance, time, it is S. You know that time, it could be say hours, minutes, what? But always these, they come from where? Always seconds, then you have minutes. Then from minutes, that's when you can have hours. From hours, that's when you can have days. From days, that's when you can have years. You see? But where you're starting from, it's what? Seconds. So whatever you're measuring, always use what? Seconds. Then when it comes to length, you find that from meters, you can come out, you can produce what? Kilometers, inches, many other what is, but which is agreed upon is what? Meters. So when you are measuring something and when you see length, this is what? This is the matter, something which exists also. It's a quantity, I mean, which you can measure. A quantity is something which you can measure. So when it comes to mass, also mass, you find that there are many units, but which is agreed upon when you're starting measuring mass, you need to start from what? Kg. Then temperature, you need to use what? Kelvins. Same with currents, that way. So you need to understand this, you need to know this. It will make sense as we move on, because these will be now the main topics which we'll be looking at now as we move on. The next videos which I'll send, we'll go into details. Then if you have more than one basic unit, or more than one quantity which you're measuring, when you're measuring something, then it has more than two quantities. For instance, let's look at density. Density, look at it has kg and meters times 3. So here, when you look at the formula for density is equals to what? Mass over volume. You see, there is mass. How do you measure mass? Mass is in kg. Then volume it is in meter. You see, meter squared. So no wonder you're coming out with the formula like what? Kg per meter cubed. It will make sense as we move on, because we start studying now these in details. Force also, it is Newton. So sometimes you might be confused. So Newton, the symbol is that. You might be confused. They use Newton. How come it's only one thing? No, Newton consists of many things. As you can see, there's kg and meter per second square. And when you look at meter per second square, there's meter, second, there are many, more than 3 watts basic units. So volume, meter, square, these are the standards. More than. So how come here you can say that here we have only meter? How come meter here it is power what? Power 3. So means that we have m times m times m. No wonder it is what grouped as what? A derived. Even if it's the same thing, you are repeating the same thing, still more, that becomes what? A derived. It only becomes a basic unit if you are only considering what? One thing. Like for instance, time. Just a second. Now if you say time squared, that's something, meaning that you are multiplying the times. It will make sense as we move on. So there's acceleration, velocity, and volume. So we'll go into detail looking at each and every quantities. That's all about it. Physics. We'll be only looking at quantities in detail, what measures that quantity and what units and what calculations can come out from those. So just understand that it will be easy for you. Formulas and other things I explain to you how they go about. Just know, differentiate your derived units and your basic units. You know them, you're able to list them and their respective units to be easy for you to understand physics as we move on further. Thank you.